All right. I
What up?
believe,
What up? What up?
yes, we are officially live on the road.
On the road.
Yes, for a special edition of Love and Business.
Yep.
Did you get it? You got it figured out over
Yeah,
there?
I think so.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
can't either. I feel like we was having some small technical difficulties, but we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
I just can't do anything from my phone, but it's a-okay because we're just having a live random
Yeah.
conversation from somewhere in the woods.
Yeah.
We don't want to give folks our undisclosed location as of yet.
Yeah, hey,
If that's okay with you.
I'm perfectly fine with it.
Oh, okay, good. So don't mention where we at.
Okay.
Anytime on this live video.
All right.
Because we're somewhere in the woods. But as you join us, you got to do a hashtag live or a hashtag replay and tell us where you're watching from.
Yeah.
We're watching from somewhere in the woods.
Somewhere in the
that's gonna be the name of this one. Somewhere in the woods. Somewhere in the woods.
We're gonna figure it out. Like that in some cases.
Yeah, I
somewhere
mean,
in the woods.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got woods behind us,
and ducks and turtles and
we somewhere
squirrels.
We somewhere in the woods. Amen. Amen. I hope our signal. That's the other thing I didn't check to make sure is that we was gonna have a good internet connection the whole time. So, y'all pray our strength, saints, as we
the internet strength.
Pray to strengthen our internet as we go live tonight. But we weren't gonna hold you long.
No, we ain't gonna. With the Baptist.
Yeah, we ain't gonna hold you long. We just wanted to talk about our experience here in the.
If you would turn with us to the book of.
Stop. Yeah. So you said you wanted to talk about the drop off, so you can do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess that's my first time taking my kids and dropping them off, for them to stay, especially like a summer camp or anything like that. I know I didn't stay at no sleepaway camps or anything like that. Definitely a different experience.
I had never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
The closest thing I think I seen to it was maybe like a 1-day trip to like something with the church or something like that. It may have been like just a quick outing or something.
Yeah, I have never stayed anywhere either without my parents or at least at a family member's house. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere where we like legit
you still
knew somebody. It was a cousin house or aunt's house or something. But this is
it was different.
Yeah,
it was different. But I mean, I was very comfortable, with dropping them off once I got there, and all the people were super friendly. It seems like that the people that had been there had been coming back for years and years.
Yeah.
It really was, it was like, man, everybody greeting people and everybody making,
it was a pretty cool atmosphere, man.
It really was.
It was really nice. Yeah. I was quite impressed because, like I said, I have never seen it. Like I said when I was there, the closest I saw to it was the what's the name of the movie I told you? Parent Trap or something like that.
Parent Trap.
Yeah, with the something like that with the twins on there. I saw it on TV, but I've never like in person seen like a sleepaway camp. So I'm just excited to hear the girls, stories when
what they did.
When they come back. But the reason why we're somewhere in the woods is because they're about 20 minutes away from us. Because this was too new for us to take our kids out in the middle of the woods to stay in some cabins, and then we not know where our kids was at. So if they do happen to call us for any reason, we gonna pop right on up. We gonna roll up on them very quickly. We're not trying to leave our kids nowhere in the woods, and we ain't never experienced none of this before.
We got some growing up to do too.
Absolutely.
We got some growing up to do.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe next year, if they decide to go, then
I don't know.
We'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll go a little further away. But this year, we right up the road, somewhere in the woods.
And I don't know why it is as parents, we want our kids to be independent. And I mean, I'm always saying, well, what did you try? Did you do this or did you do that? But man, we get to the camp and it's like my oldest daughter, once she got her stuff situated, it was like she told me, she was like, okay, that's all I need. You can go. I'm like,
I wasn't in there. Like, he told me she said that, but I was helping. I was helping Kirsten, and he came over to the cabin, and I was like, what you doing here? Because I'm thinking like, surely you still got, stuff to set up. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be more to do than, that few little minutes. And it turns out he had got kicked out.
Man, she said, okay, you can go now. And I didn't want to cramp her style. I didn't want to be like.
Well, really what I thought it was, I was like, well, maybe when you came, I was like, dang, maybe they didn't want men, the dads in there or something. But like Kayla legit kicked him out of the cabin.
She was just like, hey, I'm good. So a part of me was like, man, you know what I mean? Like, you sure? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have left. If I had been over there, I wouldn't have left. She would have just had to be, shamed. Did all the other parents leave or something? So you was the only parent?
No, yeah, I was the only parent in there at the time because the other two girls had already been there, and then the counselors were in there as well. So she took her sheets out and stuff and made up the bed, and I had to help her with the fitted sheet a little bit, but then the counselor started, but she switched beds. Like she started over here. And
I noticed that because when I came back in there, I was like, wait a minute, now she.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. What is that? I don't know.
Kirsten, on the other hand, just completely used me in the process. Oh, yeah, Kirsten. I made up her entire bed. She didn't help at all. She just stood there and looked at me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold on. I thought this is a camp about independence. Hey, I'm assistant. That's
what I was thinking about it. When I went to college, it's like my mom, she set my whole room up. What I'm saying? Like from like moving in.
That's full blown. That's adulthood. She shouldn't have done that.
Man, I mean, bedspread and everything. I'm talking about just everything.
I guess every week she came in, got your dirty clothes, and washed them for you too. Then
not at all.
Okay,
but I was right down the street, so I didn't have far to go to.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man.
Hey, Michelle.
Like, dude, I could have. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, I'm trying to help her out. Be like, hey, I found myself talking for her. You know what I'm saying? Like I was asking her, it was her bunkmate or whatnot.
Yeah.
That she was from New Orleans.
Right.
So I was like, oh, so I'm like, well, where do you go to school at? And she says, and then I say, oh, well, Caitlin goes to school at.
Why didn't you wait to see if Caitlin said something?
That's what I said. I said, oh, dang, I'm talking for you. Let me just let you know what I'm saying.
Did Caitlin say anything?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
Afterwards, but it was like. But I'm having a conversation for her because I want them to have a conversation, type deal. And like, okay, all right, parenting, you got to stop. You know what I'm saying? You got to let her gotta go. I'm literally speaking for her. I'm like, that ain't gonna serve her well at all.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was a cool experience. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think for us, it was important that the girls get to have an experience because it was Caitlin's idea. I think she had heard that a lot of her friends had been participating in sleepaway camps, and I think that's super cool too. Is that our kids are getting to experience things that we never, never would have thought of. Definitely not to be going somewhere that far away. But from what I've heard, some of her classmates are going like a flight away for 2 weeks at a stay away camp.
2 and 3
I'm not ready for that.
I ain't ready for that.
Because again, if we gotta put our kid on a plane to go to, like, they literally are taking their kids to the airport, they get on the flight, they go to the sleepaway camp, and somebody from the sleepaway camp meets them at the airport to pick them up to take them to the we just went on and
on another level.
We packed up the RV and we came right up the street because I'm just not ready for that. Now, maybe after these couple of days, when we go pick them back up and they're like, oh, we had the best time of our life, maybe we'll, graduate to letting them stay, a little longer, and maybe we won't stay so close by. But I don't know if I put my kids on a flight and having somebody meet them at the airport, which they did. They do that for this camp.
Do they?
They had a little thing on the paperwork that said if your kid is flying in to the airport, to just let them know all the flight information, and they'll have one of the camp counselors to meet them there, and they had the details in the paperwork. But I was like, oh yeah, no, not doing that. No, not happening. So we just decided to go low key on this when we drove on up, and we're gonna be camping out somewhere in the woods until our girls get finished with sleepaway camp. But we've been having a good time, just chilling out in the woods, looking at the water. Apparently, either the squirrels followed us or they got some cousins over here. But squirrels is circling our RV. How about that?
Still got a lot of cousins.
Still got a lot of squirrel issues. But it's just nice. It's quiet.
It's nice and quiet.
And I'm grateful because we needed some time to
just
kind of hang out and do much of nothing. But as you can tell, this live wasn't about a whole bunch. We just felt like, man, it's Thursday night.
We wanted to jump on.
Let's jump on and talk to our love and business community, because that's just what we do on Thursday nights. And we wanted to do that. Yeah. You wanna jump into what you actually brought up a little while ago?
I mean, it was.
I think it kind of rolls into like what we're doing now. That we've had the opportunity to be here for, a reason. We didn't just pop up here, but
no, I was just thinking how in society, like how we have been so accustomed to building our lifestyle around the work that we do. Right, around whatever the vein or the business that we are in. If your job tells you you need to move XYZ place, then you build your lifestyle around that. And I really think it should be the reverse, where we build a lifestyle of things that we're passionate about, that we love to do, and then find a business or a career that supports that, versus just, hey, I'm going to do whatever because my job is my lifeline. And I can't have a life outside of that because that's the only lifeline that I have.
So you're basically saying we should think about the type of life that we want to live, and then we should work towards actually building that lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And then everything else that we do should fit
inside of that. Yeah. Because those are the things that would make us happy, right?
Yeah, what I'm
saying? That would be more purposeful and more meaningful in life than just, okay, well, I'm working and I get my check in 2 weeks, and then I can only really do, according a goal or be as free as I can, as my job will allow me, not from a time off perspective, but just, just from a overall perspective.
Yeah.
And I was listening to something the other day, and, it was talking a lot about becoming, right? Like when we interview people for jobs and things like that, a lot of times, the question may come up, well, what's the pay, right? But no one ever asks, what will this job help me become, right? Nobody never asks, it's what is this job going to do for me as a person, other than like a discount or something like that, right? It's not like, who am I going to become on this job, right? Because there's some jobs out there that could make you become distrusting. Or there's some jobs that just make you dislike certain people, or you just are not fond of certain activities anymore, or something like that, right? Something that you typically may like. But who are you becoming in the career or the job that you've chosen, or in the line of work that you've chosen? And this has nothing to do with economics, right? This is nothing to do with someone that's a lower wage earner versus somebody that's a top wage earner, because you got some top wage earners that don't like who they become as a result of what they do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we only do what we do for money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think what I'm most grateful for is that, not 100% intentionally, because I think when we initially went off into entrepreneurship, it was really to get away from corporate America and to kind of have some freedoms. I don't think that we necessarily knew what that looked like in the beginning stages. Like we just, we did want to make more money. We did want to kind of live life on our own terms. But what it really looked like in the beginning was we didn't necessarily have life on our own terms. We were working even more than we were when we had jobs. We were way more committed, to what it was that we were doing, clearly because it was ours. But instead of us being able to clock in and out for 8 hours and be done, we was clocking in and out for 24 hours out of a day almost, And so I think what eventually ended up happening was we started to understand that we didn't just want to be entrepreneurs. We wanted, something bigger and better out of that situation, which helped us to kind of start to visualize, like, what do we want our lives to be, right? Like, how much money do we want to make? Where do we want our girls to go to school, right? What freedoms do we actually want to have? And so over time, I think we started to actually create that lifestyle that we legitimately wanted. And what I'm even more grateful for is, like, now, we're here literally in the middle of nowhere. And if we wanted to, we could pop up our laptops and run each and every one of our businesses, right? And that's the type of lifestyle that I dreamed about years ago, right? I didn't necessarily know like when or how or whatever it was going to happen, but that's what I wanted to have access to. I wanted to be able to have those types of freedoms. And, for us now to be able to say, oh, well, our girls are, away at sleepaway camp, and we have the luxury, the freedom, and the flexibility to say, well, hey, we just going to camp out close by.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not that we built in that exact thing inside of that plan, but it was in our minds of, hey, we want to be able to be free to do and be whatever we wanted to do.
And it was like, with this, it was like, I don't want to deprive my girls of that experience that they're wanting to experience because of my fear. So what can the accommodation look like, right? So you can go, but I'm gonna be close by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is my close by, right? But it allowed me to, because we don't realize how these things can trickle down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? From what we do for a living, and then what we'll stop the people in our family from experiencing, just because of how tethered we are to something, right? Yep. Whether it be a fear, whether it be a paycheck, whether it be, just security or whatever it may be, but if that tethering isn't serving you, then that could be problematic. But a lot of times we want to address that simply for the fact that tethering is what pays the bills. And that's kind of how we get in that rat race of, or that, that circle of allowing that to dictate what we do. And how we do it.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's something we want to try to, push further and further to the back. We just met a couple that was out here, and they literally volunteer. They go and stay places a month at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
Our next door neighbors.
Yeah. But they go and volunteer at different nonprofit organizations everywhere they go. But that's their purpose, right? That's their mission. They are solely there saying, hey, this is all we're doing. Is going out and lending a helping hand, right? Because they feel like that's their purpose.
And obviously, if you have a lifestyle like that, you have to be able to, set yourself up for something like that. I mean, it's very clear that, money clearly is
it's a tool. It's needed.
It's a tool to be able to do things like that. Yeah. But I think what we try to do, especially through our Love and Business podcast, is try to help people to see that there are opportunities out there. There are things that you can do to set your lifestyle up in such a way that gives you those types of freedoms. And it's amazing that we get to meet so many people through what we do just in business in general. But every time we pop up at an RV park, we meet somebody that has like this unique and different lifestyle. Where they're literally just kind of traveling the world well, not the world, but the country. Traveling the country in an RV, and they set up this lifestyle for themselves. Like, they were intentional about it. Not to say that everybody wants to, travel the country in an RV, but the point here is that if you want certain, luxuries, or if you just want a certain type of lifestyle, then you have to really be intentional about creating that.
That's it. And the deal is, sometimes it may not be a traditional way of creating it. Right, I'm not saying go out and have a hat at the red light or something like that, but the deal is, like, you can, or somebody can want to have a lifestyle of volunteering or spending more time with their kids and things like that, even though they have a college degree or a specific skill set. Now it's, how do I change this into something that can fund the things that I want to do, which is spend more time with my kids or work from home? How do I take the skill set that I do have and transition that into something that is revenue generating, right? To support my lifestyle, right? Because again, the money is important, but the purpose and the passion in which you're doing and what you're doing, I think, is even more important.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's not something that you can buy. It's like, what do you want to spend your time doing?
Yeah.
Like, what impact do you want to make? And I think the more we ask ourselves that question, the better the more clear it becomes. But I guess the biggest component to that is just being able to say, okay, now how do I generate revenue from this so that I can create a comfortable space for me to transition, or for me to really embrace what it is that I want to do from a purpose perspective.
Right.
I ain't talking about just staying on the couch and chilling and playing PlayStation all day. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about like purpose work and passion work as it relates to that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think I always talk about doing purpose work, but I think it's super important to be able to identify, with what your purpose is, or what is it that you were created, what is it that you were born to do, right? Because that type of work, excuse me, you would never get tired of doing. Like, you don't mind waking up, and doing that every day. Just like with the couple that's next door to us, like they legit. It was an old one, by the way, that you put in there. That was what the problem was. It's several weeks. Yep.
What that one was.
Okay. Yeah. And so I think that if you attach to your purpose first, and then run after everything else, then life seems to be a little bit more sweeter, if you ask me. Whereas I think in our initial stages of just doing business in general, we really were just going after more income and more flexibility, more freedom. Whereas now we're literally starting to build our lifestyle in such a way that we're going after purpose first, and it feels different. I like it a whole lot better on this end, and I'm excited about it. Like now, even though we're literally for the entire month of June, we are on vacation. Like for the month. When I say the month, I mean the whole month. We are out and about. We're at home a couple minutes, but we're out and about, and I'm excited about that. And the amazing part about it is we still get to do our purpose work on the road. Like we don't have to just stop everything that we're doing, and we don't want to. So we're vacationing in motion. You know what I'm saying? And I like it. It's not draining. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's a task. I mean, we could have just chose not to do, Love and Business tonight, but I wanted to do it because I'm like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
If I could just only do Love and Business Live on Thursday nights at 7, it would be absolutely amazing. Clearly, we got to do more than that because we got a lot of businesses to run. But I mean, I sent a text message, maybe not even a text. I sent one email today, to the team, and responded to something, and that's really that's not all we did. We actually met with our team to help us with some things behind the scenes for our new project, which is funding for franchising. So of course, if you were inside of the franchise blueprint challenge a couple of weeks ago, those people did graduate off into our program, funding for franchising, and so we're helping some amazing people move on to the next level and actually get funded for their franchise businesses. And I'm excited about the stuff that we worked on today. Yeah. Like I literally just wake up 15 minutes before our call and jump on the call with this team.
Of course, brush our teeth.
We brushed our teeth, we washed our faces, but literally we jumped out of the bed in the RV and went straight to this conference call with this team that's helping us to continue to build out this program to make sure that our clients are getting everything that they're supposed to get. This is total purpose work.
Yeah.
I ain't thought about nothing else today. Like legit. My mom was like, I need to catch a couple emails. I'm like, what is that? I'm so far removed. Because the entire month, I'm like, in my head, I'm on full-blown vacation. And it is amazing to be able to just go ebb and flow like, okay, I'm taking a nap. Lamorne is cooking out on the grill for a few minutes. Okay, he checking some emails. I'm now emailing the franchising, the funding for franchising community, sending out their homework for the week. But it feels good to be inside of purpose work and to be able to just do this the way we want to do it. And it feels too good to not share that level of excitement with other people and then inspire you to do the same. Because I don't want you to not like your life.
And that's what absolutely.
We want you to build the lifestyle that you want, and then create the jobs or create the businesses or create the atmosphere that you need to make sure that you can continue to thrive in that lifestyle. 100%. I think I think that's super cool, and that is our total new theme. That's all we ever talking about is helping people to create, these lifestyles that they want to create, and then making sure that they can have whatever it is that they need to fund those lifestyles.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, man. I feel like a lot of people just get get lost. They lose themselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's nothing against anybody, because it's something that me personally, we, you know what I'm saying, we still navigate, through it. We are just saying, hey, there is a way to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. So if there is something that you just feeling like, man, I really would like to do this, there is probably a way to build it in a way where, hey, you can create something where it will support your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you have some information there, I mean, it's that's it, man. But just to be able to have the flexibility to work on yourself, to work on the impact that you'll make around with people around you.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's it. I just think that is super important. And if we have more people that are able to do that, imagine the impact that we'll have in our communities, in our cities, in our states, and which eventually will affect the nation.
Yeah.
But it just starts with us being able to have the freedom to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's it, to be able to see something just a little bit differently, so that we can now make that adjustment to where we're not just building our lifestyle based on our work, but allowing our purpose to lead us, and then we build a lifestyle. I mean, we build a business that supports that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Based on our purpose.
And I think I think the goal and objective here is to agitate people enough to want to start thinking about it. Like it's not like it's something that could be done overnight, because here we are, I don't know, started our first business in like 2011 or something like that or whatever. Here we are. Now you yawning on me once again and again. Once again and again. Every time I talk, he gets sleepy. See what I'm saying? Then I'll tell you. Something about these husbands. They get a little sleepy every time the wives start talking. No. Anyway, I think we were created to be that way. We were supposed to enjoy life. We were supposed to operate in purpose, and we just want to agitate people just enough to start thinking about, like, what was my purpose? What was I created to do? What am I here to do? Because we were created to enjoy life, not to. We talked about that the other night in one of our communities. We weren't created to toil, right? And the only thing I can think about in all of the jobs, that I had previously, it did feel like toil. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hated it. And the truth be told, in some of the businesses that we created, it was toil. We hated it. Absolutely. And so now we're finally getting to this point where we're like, man, we can taste, touch, and feel purpose. And there is absolutely no way that I'm trying to go backwards from that. Like, I want to continue to pursue purpose. I want to continue to move forward in that. And I want to continue to create the lifestyle that I want to live. And everything else around, me needs to support that. Right? Like, I need to make sure that if my girls continue to want to do things, if I need to make sure, if I can't be a flight away, we're the jet.
Yeah.
Right? If they want to do something on a cruise, I need to have a yacht next door. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to make sure that whatever it is that we want to do, our kids want to do, our kids want to do, that we're building that lifestyle now, that can support that. And in the type of businesses that we choose, what freedoms and flexibilities do I have inside of that? Because not every business model that we chose supported that,
right? Right.
And so we had to learn, okay, well, what fits us? Mm-hmm. What doesn't fit us? Which ones match with our morals and values?
Yeah.
Which ones don't? And I think it's super important for people to be able to identify with that as they, try to figure out what their purpose is, right? Because even if you're not, a business owner, but you're working in a job, right? Does your employer align with your morals and values? Would your employer align with you taking out, a week or two or whatever to go and do whatever it is that you need to do with your family, right? Like, you have to think about those things, because even though everybody isn't built to be a business owner, you still can, negotiate some of those pieces and parts inside of your business. Caveat, if you're a good team member, because I'm not about that life where if you're not a good asset to the team that you expect to get any and all things, because I'm not that type of business owner.
Bring some value.
Absolutely. If you're not bringing the value, you're not gonna really live long in my system anyway.
No.
I'm just built to push you out. Yeah. But even if you're not an employer, but you work for a company, are you working for one that's helping you to build the type of lifestyle that you want to live?
Right.
You know, and not just compensating you financially either.
And that's the thing that we most of the time we look at is what is the compensation?
Right.
Like,
what are you making?
Yeah, six figures or or whatever it may be, and then we will mold to that for the compensation.
I would be looking for, like you said the other day, like, what am I becoming inside of this company?
What am I becoming? Right. And that's the question we really never ask ourselves. And I gave the example, and no offense to any defense attorney or anything like that may be, watching the live.
Yeah.
But it is, think about it. A defense attorney may make a lot of money, right? I mean, maybe millions of dollars a year, or maybe high hundreds of thousands. But what, as a defense attorney, being exposed to individuals that may or may not have committed this crime, but they are maybe in a criminal lifestyle. If those are the people that you decide that you're going to represent, who do you become in the process of that?
Yeah.
Right. Do you become somebody that bends the moral values and your moral compass, and then say, I'm living by the letter of the law? So if it does not break the letter of the law, then I don't care what my morals say. Mm-hmm. It's not wrong, right? Or do you become distrusting of people? Like, what in your job, who are you becoming because of your job?
Yeah.
Right? Who are you becoming
and
because
the same
of
thing
your
for
job?
Entrepreneurs. Who are you becoming because you're in this business?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it could be bad.
It could be bad. Are you growing into a better person because you invested in this, in this business model, in this franchise, that or you created, this particular business? Like, who are you becoming inside of it? And that's why, I like what you said, in that we have to first create the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then we have to be committed to that. Because if we do that first, then everything else that we do moving forward has to align with that. Exactly. Right. And then it helps us to not lean too far to the left.
and when I'm talking about lifestyle, I'm not talking about, do you want to wear or drive a Rolls Royce, or do you want to, that's not the entire thing. Is what is my purposeful driven motives?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, can I pursue that? What is my passion? Mm-hmm. Is it playing music for the nursing home? Is it, helping the elderly? Is it just, water skating? I don't know. Skiing or something. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, that's, what is your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not talking about lifestyle such as, it's not only inclusive of, how you want to live, if you want a jet, if you want a big boat and all that. It's not exclusive to that.
Yeah.
Right. But that could be a proponent of it, because of course you got bills, and it water skating. Yeah, Tosin. I said water skating. It's
he give us one every Thursday night.
Water skiing. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I was gonna let him make it, but you didn't.
Yeah, same thing. You're on the surface of it. But what does that look like? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you just really got to ask yourself, what in the role that I'm currently in,
mm-hmm.
who am I becoming? Yeah. Right? Who have I become? Who am I becoming? And you can kind of look at, someone told me this, but it was kind of compensation related. But they say when you go on a job or whatnot, look at the person that's been there the longest. And if you want to if you can see yourself in their lifestyle,
mm-hmm.
then stay there. If you can't, then you need to go.
Yeah.
Right? Because that may be somebody that's already walked that road 30 years, 20 years. What does that look like? Well, the same is true, right? On the other side of that. On the other side of that, the same is true. Who has this person become as a person, right? Because of the role that they're currently playing.
Yeah, I just had a miserable when you said that, and yeah,
it's an important question, Tosin. You gotta ask yourself.
I remember going to I remember going to an award ceremony or something like that, or whatever, back when I was working for the government. I remember watching a person get an award for 40 years of service.
Mm.
And the fact that they walked away with a certificate and a coin, it just didn't sit right with me. I think, and at the time, I probably had been there like 5 years. Okay. So I got a certificate.
Yeah, and they got
for 5 years, and then they got a certificate and like this little special little coin.
Yeah.
For 40. And I was like, man. And at that time, I was already kind of digging for purpose. I was like, man, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I just knew that long term, this wasn't it, but I didn't know like what it was. I just kept saying, man, I know I'm here for something else. Like, what is my purpose? Like, I'm asking God almost every day, like, please help me to figure this thing out, because I know that I'm not supposed to be doing this. Now, true enough, maybe somebody's supposed to be doing the job that I was doing. Maybe not. I don't really know. I just know it wasn't for me. And I think that more and more people need to start asking themselves that question. Like, they need to agitate themselves enough to say, what am I here for? What am I supposed to be doing? What was I created to do? Right. You know, what's in me that the world needs, right? Like, where should I be physically? You know, what should I be doing physically? You know, who am I supposed to serve? Like,
am I supposed to serve?
All of those questions, you know, because as I continue to ask myself those questions for years, I'm just time after time, even now, like I always say, I don't know what I'm supposed to be when I grow up. Like, I still don't know, you know, and not from a bad space, but hey, in this season, I may be this. But in this season, I may be.
Well, it's becoming.
Yes, you know I'm always growing and becoming. So even in the season when I was working for the government, I was becoming. You know, and then the next session after that, I was still becoming, because I was then off in entrepreneurship, but I wasn't fully.
Into entrepreneurship.
Where I needed to be in entrepreneurship. Then, okay, next level entrepreneurship. I'm still not there.
Right.
Because I was still toiling, right? Like, we were still.
Part-time toiling.
I was toiling. Okay. So I was there 7 days a week, sir. You know what I'm saying? Sun up to sundown type deal. You know, and then I moved from that to where I'm not doing as much, but mentally and emotionally, I was toiling. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's still, and so then I'm starting to focus.
Good. So it's other movement.
It's other, just because I'm not physically toiling didn't mean that I wasn't emotionally in it. I was in there toiling. Okay. So now you in entrepreneurship, you making all these coins, but you stressed out about every liability that could, you know, fall onto your lap. You know, so I'm like, okay, God, what's next? What is it, you know what I'm saying, that you have for me? Where is it that you want me to go now? Right? Because we learn to use each and every opportunity to build to where we wanted to go.
Absolutely.
What was the lifestyle? What was the purpose that we were driving towards?
Exactly. And that's what Bernard just said. I appreciate how you acknowledge that we exist in seasons where our wants and needs change. And that's absolutely
we have become. I am definitely not the same Crystal that Lemoyne knew back in 2003.
No kind of way.
No kind of way. This was the Crystal. Like back then, this was the Crystal from 2003 to about 2008. I was drinking up until 2:00 in the morning,
playing
Xbox at least to 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Right?
So much fun.
It's not. I'm not the same one.
No, she ain't.
And then the 2008 to about the 2011 Crystal, not the same.
No.
As a matter of fact, I left Lemoyne in about 2011, 12,
somewhere in
13 in there. He was by himself. I was still with him. But mentally, I was gone. And I think that we have to figure out, right? Like, in each different phase, okay, what do I need now? Right? What you know, tools do I need to add to my toolbox?
Right.
Because at every stage you're gonna need something, right? And even though now I feel like we are legit, like the closest that we have ever been to purpose. Like, I still know that there is some growing and becoming in this particular phase. I'm more excited about it than, you know, any other phase that we've been in. But this one, it feels different.
See, but what happens is even when people feel something that feels different, you know, when you feel something different, what tends to happen is we are weighted down by time. Right? I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. And then we give that more weight than the inkling to change.
That's good.
And then we give the voice of other and the influence of what other people have done in society that same weight, and say, man, okay, well, that's gonna look crazy if I do this. That's gonna look crazy if I leave this job, or if I start transitioning into doing this, or why am I gonna go down there and help them people, you know, in the nursing home, or whatever it may be, whatever you're passionate about. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like you can't give all of that stuff that much weight, because if you know, that's what creates death-like feeling on the inside of you when you do.
No, the real weight should go into purpose.
Yeah, it should.
You know what I'm saying? Like instead of us weighing how, like you said, how much time we put into a thing. Like oh man, because I've heard stories. I remember when Jamal had said one time on the podcast how one of the guys at the police department, he was saying, "Oh no, I'm gonna travel when I retire. I'm gonna travel when I retire." And this man had put in, I want to say, it's well over 20 years, right, at the police department. And months after he retires, he dies.
Yeah,
right. But because we put so much weight on like a stamped time frame, right? Like, oh, well, I got to do such and such for 10 years, or I got to get such and such, but we're not consulting God in those types of conversations.
God don't operate in time.
Like, no, it's like, did God tell you to stay there for 25 years so you could get such and such a benefits? And I think that's the reason why we don't quickly activate into purpose, because we're trying to control the time and spaces that we're in. We're saying, oh, I need to be at this location for X amount of years. Now, I'm not saying people should just go out and frivolously quit everything that they're doing that gives them stability. But I am saying we should start consulting God in the conversations. Absolutely. Why? Because he is the creator. Exactly. He gave us the manual to life. Yeah. So why would I X him out of the process and say, oh, well, I'm going to give this one 20 years and then I'm going to check out after that. Absolutely. You know, when, hey, God may say, hey, you got 5 years with this one. Yeah. Give it all you got. Get what you're going to get and go get some more from somewhere else.
And that's part of the we want to write the narrative.
Yeah, you know we want to make it look away.
We don't want to be as flexible as we should be flexible enough to be molded by God.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily just so stagnant into my plan is that I'm going to do this for 10 years and then I'm going to, jump over here and do that. By that time, I should be senior manager.
It's not your plan. It's his purpose.
You know what I'm saying?
What is that?
If we start to really consult God, because he says, seek ye first and he'll add all this to you. He say, knock and he will give you the wisdom that you asking for, right? Knock and he'll answer, something along those lines. So that's the part that I think we really negate.
For sure.
Right? And that's where we don't really give it much weight. It's just more or less what our plan is. Yeah. But just because it looks like it's good, and it could be good from a financial perspective. But what is it when when you're being led by purpose or being led by like by God? It's more or less like currency is more. It's a tool. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's not the deciding factor as to who, what, and when. Yeah. It's just a tool to say I can now do who, what, when, and where when I'm called to that purpose. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And that's it. But most of the time we chase the status, we chase the money. You know what I'm saying, versus becoming. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, becoming a person. And then when we become a person, it's going to attract exactly what.
And it seems so weird that we say that, because our journey in the beginning stages of that was chasing the thing. Yeah. Like it was going after what we feel like was a certain status. Absolutely. Or a certain dollar amount. And it's so weird that we just had this conversation the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, we was driving up here or whatever, in that we have to get people to money just so that we can show them that it's really about purpose. Exactly. And it's amazing, but that's everybody's real currency now is money. Yeah. When I'm working to change my thought process and my mindset to say that purpose is my currency, right? I know that money's going to come anyway. Why? Because it is defined as currency. And I say it all the time. It's called currency because it flows, right? So that just means that it has to continue to travel to me, because that's the definition of it, right? And I also know that God is going to continue. I just got to be ready to attract it to me by doing what I was created to do. So I don't have any reason to believe that money wouldn't flow to me, especially if I'm operating in my purpose. And of course, it's a tactic of the enemy here for us to not believe that way, right? He wants us to toil after money, because if we're working that hard for it, we don't get it the same way, right? Yeah. Like now, here we are a month off on vacation, and we're not gonna miss a beat financially. Yeah. But it's different because we're sitting in purpose now, and we're not afraid to take a month and sit back and do purpose work while we travel, right? While we do everything, like everywhere we're going and everything that we're doing is full of purpose. But we get to choose that because we now understand that I don't have to hold on to every dollar that comes my way. I don't have to toil after money each and every day. I can say, hey, God, what is it that you want me to do today? Who is it that you want me to bless today? What purpose is it that you have me set out to do today? And whatever that is, through whatever lane or business it is that we're functioning in, then we're going to do that. But most people are looking at the exact opposite. How can I do such and such? How much is this going to make me? Right. And we're not saying that you're bad people for it, of course, because we did it, for long periods of time. We thought that we were the provider.
And I still had that. We just had this conversation the other night. And I was saying,
our bathroom conversation.
Yeah, our bathroom conversation. I don't know. What do y'all have y'all most intense?
We should do our podcast in the bathroom.
Like that.
Because it could really
get just standing in the bathroom, not physically using it.
Nobody's on the toilet.
Yeah, but that's where it seems like we just have our most. I'm like,
we have our most valuable conversations. When I'm sitting on my sink, he's sitting on his sink, and we just talking.
I turn around, try to brush my teeth to give me time to think. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she be crushing me, man. I'm like, oh man, let me just go and brush my teeth real quick. Let me see if I can conjure up something. Think about it. But we was just talking about that because I was telling her, I said, well, look, let's move some resources to this particular account. And then we know that these funds here are just earmarked for a certain activity. Yeah. Right. And the man in me is just like, hey, I just want to make sure that my family is good. Want to make sure the family is taken care of. Blase, blase. And Crystal was like, that's really not your responsibility. Mm-hmm. Like it is, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Your responsibility is to chase purpose. Mm-hmm. Your responsibility is to seek God, right? Mm-hmm. Seek God and all these other things will be added to you, right? So seek God in fulfilling your purpose. And when you start in that vein and you keep going down that road, then this other stuff will be exposed to you, right? You will see how, revenue can be generated because he said your gifts will make room for you, right? So the gift of purpose and you activating it and you activating it in you will allow you to, be in rooms where you're really, by the world standard, maybe not qualified to be in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I totally agree because I said it.
Yeah, you did.
And I think that we should have more conversations about this more often because I know that there are way too many people now that have default set to what they need to do to provide in such a way, right? Like I know for certain that we have the lifestyle that we have now because we have submitted to God, right? And I want to keep doing more and more and more of that instead of more of what I feel like, I should be doing because it's easier this way, and it comes with a whole lot less stress, with a whole lot less toil,
right?
When I tell you I'm free to be out here in these streets these days, it doesn't matter to me anymore because I've let go of things that I know God said, okay, your season is up, right? Okay, you can't do X, Y, and Z. It's just a little win, baby.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's just a little win. We safe.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But what I told Lemoyne was, how did I say? I said that I wanted to be able to trust God more.
Yeah.
As my provider, right? And I know as husband and wife, it sounds a little weird, yes, I expect Lemoyne, to if I can't do nothing for myself physically, then most definitely I would have an expectation for my husband to take care of me. Absolutely. But I wanted us both to grow to this space where, hey, I get it. A husband is a provider, but God is the ultimate provider for the both of us.
Yeah.
And so if we learn how to operate in purpose, then I know I'm doing what he created me to be and do. And I also know that in this particular time and season, you're afraid? Lemoyne is afraid of the weather.
I ain't afraid, but
I believe God is our protector as well.
On the radar.
Okay. Lemoyne, like this weather wasn't on the radar. We somewhere in the woods, and this kind of thing happens in the woods. But anyway, I was just telling him the other night that I feel like if we would just focus on God being our ultimate provider, that long term, the lifestyle that we have now can be even more pleasurable, right? Because we're not toiling.
Right.
We're focused more on doing purpose work. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't stop the weather. I just want to see,
You can see it straight ahead.
Yeah. See it? I see it. it looks a little more treacherous behind us than straight ahead.
Chris said he see it.
Look, I'm over looking at this water and these trees over here. I'm like, man, I'm glad we ain't wait to cook.
Oh no, no. But anyway, it's getting close to our close time. Anyway, it's almost 8:00. But I wouldn't even think we was gonna be on here this long.
No, not at all.
You stirred me. You stirred me.
A 15-20 minute deal,
from somewhere in the woods. Now, I mean, I'm glad that we were able to have a conversation though, because I do want more people to be stirred towards purpose.
Yeah.
I do want more people to see that life on your own terms is attainable.
Right.
But it does have to be intentional.
Life on God's terms. Maybe we should say that.
That too.
Maybe what I'm saying?
But for me, it's the same. Because
it is, but you have to go to that too.
You do. But when I say that, I know that I'm inside of purpose.
Yeah.
And so life on my own terms is a part of me operating in purpose. But for some, that might mean something totally different. You're right. You might need to specify. But the goal and objective was to just get your minds turning. Getting you in the headspace and the framework of wanting to seek after purpose, wanting to, move in the direction of purpose so that you can, have that lifestyle that God legitimately created you to have.
Like what Chris just said was we have a purpose-driven life. And you're absolutely right. But we think of it a lot of times unknowingly as a revenue-driven life. You know what I'm saying? It's always like what makes money.
Yeah.
People go into careers and they stay there for years and years and years just because it makes money. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going into IT and hate computers. I'm going into medicine and hate, people.
I hated chemistry and I got a whole chemistry degree and I hated it. But I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think that for us and hopefully for some of you too, especially if you have younger kids or, teenage kids, whatever, you're working to drive your kids towards purpose, right? And not towards an occupation, not towards a certain career field, right? But that you're working to cultivate in them what it was that they were created to
Absolutely.
do. Like what I appreciate a lot about Lamorne is that he is constantly cultivating in Caitlin, because listen, this child be building stuff, okay? Not building. She be building stuff. It ain't got no D in what she be doing.
You talking about Jimmy Riggs?
She be building, okay? And she built some little deal, and she swears it's a house that people could live in. Okay, now mind you, this house fit in our house, so
a corner,
a little space in the corner of her room. Okay, but she says that real people can live in it, but. She's also built like little cars and all kinds of stuff, right? And so in her mind, she is imagining that this stuff that she is building is legit something that other people can use. Now, I'm not gonna lie, about 97% of it ain't functional.
And I always tell her you use it first, and then because that's my soft way of saying, baby, I just need you to self-discover that this ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
But she has not yet, okay? But what Lamorne has done, though, is he's continued to cultivate in her that it's okay to create new things. It's okay, to have a far-fetched imagination, whatever. And he's buying her like all these types of kits and toys and different things to create and build stuff. I mean, almost every weekend he's doing some type of science project with the girls, just helping them to discover new things. And I'm appreciative of that because honestly, I don't have that level of patience in me. Okay, but he was blessed with that. But it is beautiful to see because he is cultivating in those girls what God has put inside of them. As it relates to purpose, and we're not pushing them towards a certain career or to a certain field, but we're trying to see how does your brain work? What are you thinking? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Right? Like we're not pushing. Make sure you go to college type deal or whatever. We're seeing them, as humans, because that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to see each other for who we were created to be, so that we can have the, the real lifestyles that we were created to have. Right. Not to say that it's attached to certain dollar amounts, because the true, real happiness in what it is that we do is the fulfillment in doing the thing.
Right. Exactly.
And then watching whatever it is that we do, watching what happens in other people when we do it. You know, and so it's super exciting, you know, to know that we're conscious enough to be able to do that for our daughters. And we, I would encourage you to do the same, you know, not just with your kids, but you can also do it with yourself, right? Try to re-identify with that, because it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the time frame, it doesn't matter the economy. None of that matters, because if you were created to do a thing, God has already given provision for those things.
Absolutely. No, I mean that's you know, I mean, I it's so ingrained in our society, because that's the first question when you get to know somebody. Hey, my name is Lamorne, and the next question may be, hey, what do you do for a living?
What do you do?
Because that defines us in so many ways, right? Because society says that. It maybe should be, hey, what do you volunteer at in your free time? You know what I'm saying? It should be, hey, you know, what.
I can only imagine people will look at you really weird if you say, hi, my name is Lamorne. And then they say their name, and you say, well, hey, what do you do in your free time? What do you volunteer at?
Absolutely.
What is your purpose work? You know,
what's your purpose? Exactly.
Or maybe we should start doing that to kind of change the tone of conversations, to make sure that people aren't finding their worth in what it is that they
their
do.
Job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In their job. That's I mean, you see it sometimes even in church. When you go up to somebody and you say, hey, my name is Lamorne, they say, I'm elder minister, you know what I'm saying, beacon doctor, you know what I'm saying, over the path. Just say what your name is, man. Just tell me your name. I don't need to, you know what I'm saying, know everything that your ranking, you know what I'm saying, inside the ministry or whatever. Or somebody, I had a customer that called and he was like, he told one of my team members he got upset because they didn't call him doctor. Right. And I'm like, hey, I know you went to school for 8-12 years to get that. And that's cool, man. We need you in this world. But, man, you ain't got to be so tethered to it to the point where now, you know.
Well, to me, that just says that he probably wasn't meant to be a doctor.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because if someone, you know what I'm saying, truly went for the reasons of being a doctor, then they wouldn't be, they are compassionate about helping people, not about being called about a title. Yeah. And so I think that we see a lot of that clearly, culturally, like just in general. Yeah. But the goal and objective is that we shouldn't be looking to be identified by a thing, right? We should be looking to figure out, again, who we're called to serve and what we were, you know, created to do. And then the lifestyle aligns with that. And then ultimately you have the happiness, right, that you're looking for. Right. You know,
because that fulfillment comes.
Absolutely.
You know that fulfillment comes. Right?
Absolutely. But yeah, look, we're right at 8:00.
Yep.
And so we're gonna let y'all go because we're clearly somewhere off in the woods, and
the rain found us.
The rain did find us, and we're gonna enjoy the rain. I guess Lamorne probably have to go old school here and tell us, you know, we got to turn off all the lights and, you know, sit quiet and you know and listen to the rain. But we're having an amazing time somewhere in the woods. We still got a couple more days of it, and we're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so next week we'll be somewhere else.
We will,
and maybe we'll go live again, and maybe not. I don't know. It just kind of depends. We'll probably do some pop-ups over the summer, but I'm gonna tell you what, June is gonna be a good month for me because I'm gonna live my whole life out here in these streets.
It's her birthday month, y'all.
Yes, it's my birthday month, so we're gonna enjoy the entire month. I'm gonna celebrate the entire month doing what I want to do.
Closer and closer to 40.
Hey, well, I'm excited about being closer to 40. I'm gonna be excited about being close to 50, whatever it is. I'm just out here living it and loving it.
I got you.
Yes.
Hey.
Yep. So, yeah.
Until the next time, y'all. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Mm-hmm.